Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for our college visit series. We're very excited to have Michelle Zumpano with us today from Texas A&M University. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us, April and Shannon. I really appreciate it. And thanks the students that are here today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate it. Well, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of Texas A&M. I am the regional advisor for Texas A&M, and what that means is I live here. I have a home-based area in Maryland. So anytime you need anything, on a normal year, you would see me probably in and out of the schools and stuff like that. That will probably be continuing in the future. Here in the spring, I'll have a couple in-person events that I hope to host here probably later in the spring, and then also over the summer months closer to August. So I will give you more information on that as you sign up, because you want to make sure that you sign up for that link. But to kind of give you an overview of Texas A&M, we're located in College Station. Most of my students, including myself, will either fly out of BWI, Dulles International, and I've flown out of Richmond. So that is all right there. And you get a direct flight with American United. I always usually fly into either Houston, Austin, or Dallas, Fort Worth. And then I take the 20-minute hopper flight, 20 minutes, and you arrive in College Station. So you have direct flights right into College Station through American United. Now, some students and parents will use Southwest and drive in. So you can do that as well. So sometimes, depending on if you're doing the whole college tour circuits down there, that's some of my students will do that. We're also located about 90 minutes from the Gulf Coast beach area. So Galveston and stuff like that. So that's all right there. College Station is a college town. So, but I'd have to say our total enrollment at Texas A&M is a little over 71,000. This year we had another increase. Our undergrad also is about 53,000. Incoming freshmen is a little over 10,700. I know these sound like big numbers, but I promise you, once you're in your classrooms and in your major, you're looking at 25 to probably 40. Honors program is going to be about 15 to 20. And you're looking at average class size, in those are going to be that 25 to 45. Not saying freshman 101, maybe a little bit large, but overall, once you're in that major, it's smaller. Honors programs as well. And then you're looking at U.S. News World Report has ranked us as a public university 26th in the nation. Also, Washington Monthly has us as a public institution 7th in the country. Overall, public and private, you're looking at 12th. We have a lot of great rankings. We are known as a STEM university. A lot of those majors in science, technology, engineering, math, I'd say we do quite well, but we also have a great business school, the College of Education, and agriculture. Like I said, very much known for that STEM programs. The other thing too is we are top tier 1 research institution. So if students want to do undergraduate research, they have those opportunities at Texas A&M. I'm happy to say that once a student becomes an Aggie, the retention rate at Texas A&M is a little over 93%. It's almost 94%. So I always say, once you're an Aggie, you're not leaving. The other thing too, our graduation rate for 6 years is about 80%. I think it's moved up to about 83%. Undergrad, I'd say for about 4 years is about 60%. So really great graduation rates as well. And then you're looking at, we are Division I, SEC. This year we've taken home, I think in the past, 25 national championships, including football, women's softball, men's golf, men and women's out track, and then women's basketball. If a student is interested in playing in a D1 level, highly recommend going to our athletic page and filling out those prospective forms. So that way the coaches can get in contact with you. We are part, like I said, the SEC. We've taken home 17 SEC championships. Our football team did quite well this year. We only lost 1 game, and that was to your national champions, Alabama. So it was pretty awesome to see. The other thing too, you're looking about 5,200 acres at Texas A&M at College Station. So everything is pretty much right there. We have about 1,100 student organizations to get involved in. From the Corps Cadets, which is our largest student organization. This has a blend where if a student's interested in the ROTC or the Corps Cadets, they have those options. It's more, we're basically based on a military school when it first opened. Now that's not so much the case, but it is very much of a lot of traditions at Texas A&M that you'll see. But if you're interested in the Corps of Cadets, I will be sending out links and everything like that so you can actually get in contact with them. Great program. And then also student intramurals, club sports, student government, you name it, it's pretty much there. Gaming. So there's a lot to, a lot of our student organizations are right there. And I highly recommend students to go online, go to our campus life, and then you'll get to see all of those types of organizations. If you don't see something once you're down there, you can create it. I know last year we had 1,000 and now we have about 1,100 plus. So students every year are probably creating I would say about 100 plus every year. So it's pretty awesome to see. We have about 29 dining locations on campus, and that continues to grow. The largest thing probably is definitely Chick-fil-A, one of my favorite, and Starbucks. We have about 3 or 4 of those locations. One's right there at the College of Engineering at the Zachary Engineering Complex Center. But again, you have a lot going on. Student health centers there. The student rec center is state of the art. You have rock climbing wall, the indoor running track, the auditoriums there. They're building 2 more. So I can't even imagine what they're going to look like. And this one's already state of the art. We also have one of my favorite things there is the Smoothie King. I don't know if that defeats my purpose of working out, but afterwards I've been over there and had the smoothie. So you have a lot of those options on campus and lots of great restaurants off campus. And just to kind of give you a tidbit on that too, we're used to prices being a lot higher. One of my favorite restaurants, an Italian restaurant, chicken Alfredo, shrimp dish. Also my drink and tip included was $12.99. You wouldn't see that up here in the mid-Atlantic. So you're looking at about $35. And same way with, a lot of many different great barbecues that they have down there in the South. Southern hospitality, completely at its best. We're probably one of the friendliest campuses in Texas A&M. The word howdy, from the moment that you step on campus, you will be greeted with a howdy. I remember the first time I stepped on campus, I lost track. I think there was 25 howdies in probably about 2 hours. Everybody's so friendly, always wanting to help you find your location and where you're going. That is pretty neat as well. But I'll go over a couple of those traditions here shortly. We are also #1 for study abroad. So we send the most students basically study abroad. So you can go to Europe, Italy, Spain, France, Australia, New Zealand. And so those opportunities are right there. And the other thing too, we represent all 50 states, 100 plus different countries our students are coming from. I'm proud to say that Virginia is in the top 6 in students attending Texas A&M. So it continues to grow. Applicant levels, we're probably #3 in the country. So it's really awesome to see that a lot of the southern states, and we're coming in with the most coming out of state. So that's pretty awesome. I have a lot of Aggies that are right here in our local area as well. We also located about 131 different countries at Texas A&M. They're coming from all over and all over the world. So those opportunities. The other thing too is our school profile. Now this is probably going to change because due to COVID, but I'm going to give you the profile right now is a 3.6 grade point average and higher. Average SAT coming in was 1210 to 1400. I don't know where that's going to be next year because we became test optional. ACTs have been about a 27 to 32 on those. The other thing too, the applications will open up July 1st of next year. They close December 1st. Definitely highly recommend all my students to apply in that summer months. And then the same thing with the scholarships, it closes December 1st. You have 2 ways to apply to Texas A&M, Apply Texas or the Coalition. And we don't give preference on either one. A lot of my students will do the Coalition, and it's really a one-stop shop. Now I'm hearing, but don't quote me on this, the Common App may take place of the Coalition. So that may happen for next year. The other thing too, we're looking at $75 application fee for domestic students. International students, you're looking at about $90 application fee. If a student qualifies through the NACAC or reduced lunch, we can waive that. So you just want to make sure that you put that on there. And then I would have a letter from your counselor. So you make sure that you have that when they're asked for that documentation, but you'll self-report that. The other thing too, it's a one-stop shop. Admissions, scholarships, departments, the college that you're choosing, we're going to be looking at that one application. And it really is very seamless at that point. In the application, there'll be one essay, SAA, and this is really going to be, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your story. Great time to put in if there's any unique opportunities, hardships, or challenges. That would be a great place to plug that in as well. The other thing too, I think there is about diversity, a question, and COVID-19. So that'll be in there. And now I don't think that will probably change, but this year that was added in there. And then any of you that are on the call for College of Engineering, they have a little short answer and question right there as well. So it might be like a page and a half, I would say, for those sections. Scholarships, make sure you click yes to scholarships. It'll prompt you twice. If you say no both times and you're not reading what you're seeing up there, it'll throw you out of the scholarship application. So you want to make sure that you're always clicking yes. I've had some students basically click no because they thought it was in-state, because a lot of times they're reading it, and some of those do pertain to in-state. Know that it's for every app, basically scholarship that we have on campus that's available to you. So you'll be put in the running for that. The other thing too, required documents, $75 application fee, the SAA, those questions. And then also the SAT or ACT this year and for next year, basically we became test optional. So if a student doesn't or hasn't taken the SAT or didn't get a chance, know that you don't have to send those scores in. If you are, however, taking the SAT, I would highly recommend having those sent. We'll look at everything on that part. The other thing, official transcripts, you do not have to send those in. You will be basically doing an unofficial transcript. You'll have those. And I would say get those at the end of your junior year and have those printed off before you go off to the summer months. And this is where you're going to report the self-reporting academic record. So you're going to put everything in. If your school class rank, you'll put that in there. If they don't, they're used to us not ranking. We assign rankings at that point on that. And again, everything is going to be, deadlines for supporting documents are going to be December 15th, but I'm going to tell you, back it up. Have it all done early as you can. And this way, as everything gets checked off within probably about 24 to 48 hours after you've applied and hit that submit button, that's where you'll basically get an email to set up the Howdy porthole. Within that Howdy porthole, you're going to be checking the AIS system. This is the lifeline. So it'll tell you everything that you need. You can upload also letters of recommendation. This is where you're going to request from your counselor anything like letters of recommendation, resume, anything that you can be uploaded to that location. If they ask for like an official transcript, sometimes I've had students had to do that, they can upload it there. So much easier than going through that snail mail and everything. Required coursework, or now it's kind of basically we're looking at recommended coursework: 4 years of English, 4 years of math, algebra 1, 2, and geometry, 4 years of science, 2 must be either in biology, chemistry, or physics, and then 2 years of a foreign language. So you want to make sure that's all in there. This year we went to a holistic review for everybody and everything. So College of Engineering scholarships have always been holistic, and what I'm going to be looking at and what we're going to be looking at is basically those recommended coursework. We'll look at that. Class ranking, if it's available. We'll also look at your grade point average. You will take the weighted. The class ranking, like I said, that's going to be the last thing that ever gets checked off with my students. Once you submit the self-reporting STAR, that will literally come into us, and then we'll look at those two, and basically we'll assign a class ranking on that. So again, no worries on that. I'll go over all the stuff too. When it comes to that time, I'll be sending out emails. Again, SAT or ACT, if you have taken it, have those sent to us. We will take your best scores. Again, test optional for the fall of 2022 and then fall of 2021. Personal achievements. We're going to look at your extracurricular activities, leadership. They love to see that. Community service. The other thing too, talents, awards, honors programs, any of that. Just put it all, as much as you can fit in there from your resume, into the either Coalition or Common App. Again, that could be changing over. And then any summer employment or summer activities. Okay, make sure you put all of that in that application, and then you can also upload it on the resume. So we have all of those. The other thing they're going to look at is if you've had any hardships, your family, unique opportunities or challenges. Just make sure that you put that in there. College of Engineering will be early action, which is non-binding, October 15th. You want to make sure everything's in, checked off, supporting documents all by October 15th. The other thing, if a student is interested in the Mays Business School, highly competitive, I would say have everything done and completed probably by October. I would kind of keep it on the same thing because it is a first come, first serve on all the other majors. but I would say Mays Business School, probably one of the most competitive ones. So I've always told students to try to get it in there before end of September. And then you want to put in a second major as well, just in case you don't get your first one. And then students are able, they take 100 slots, I think, out of each semester for that if they don't get into what they wanted for the Mays Business School. So I kind of help students navigate on that. So if you have that or your interest, the Mays Business School, probably in the top. The College of Engineering, we are basically ranked 7th overall and 13th public and private. A lot of like aerospace engineering is about 9th in the country, civil, mechanical, electrical, 7th and 8th, petroleum, nuclear, number 1 in the country, agri and biology, they're also engineering. Most of them are going to be in the top 10. Same way with basically the accounting programs, number 2 in the nation. So great programs. Meteorology, happy to say number 1 in the country. So our vet school, again, is in the top 5 in the country and top 10 in the world. So great programs. But like I said, just applying early. Last year we had, I think actually this year in fall, we had close to 55,000 applications. Out of the 55,000 applications, there was 26,000 that were admitted. I would say acceptance rate about 60%. For out of state, I would say 40 to 50. And that's probably why I'll keep saying early. So definitely I'll have a couple different events that'll be going on this summer too. I'll be doing virtually, and then also I'm going to be trying to get to your area for some in-person events. So look for those to happen. Just make sure that you register on that link. AP or IB, we accept either one. In dual enrollments, you just want to make sure that's all in that self-reporting academic record. And then the official transcript, once a student has basically committed to Texas A&M, it'd be that summer of that, the year that they'd be applying for, then we'll ask for those to be sent to us. 72% of our students are receiving some type of financial aid, whether it's scholarships, grants, loans, campus employment. We have great programs. If a student gets up to $4,000 academically competitive, it can waive the out-of-state to in-state. Again, small percentage, but I have had some students get that. What I mean by that, basically, you're looking at admissions, department scholarships, Corps cadets. I've had some of the students that have received those basically waivers that were going into there. The other thing too, department scholarships will usually happen from that sophomore to senior year. So a lot of those will happen in that year once you're there on campus. So those definitely, you want to make sure you click the box yes on that. The other thing too, my students too, I give out some scholarships. They're non-competitive, but definitely keeping in contact with me, attending those events. I'll do a prospective student event next fall, and that will also happen in Richmond area. Usually I do Maggiano's, and then you get to meet local alums that are in the area. I've had that, and they've been great events. This is really a great event too. You get to network with other students that are interested. And if I have my alumni that are coming back or students that were currently there and they're on break, I always invite them to come in, and parents that have went through the whole process. So it's a great time also to get to learn the other networks before you ever go to Texas A&M. There's about 130 plus different majors to choose from. So there's a lot of majors. Definitely check those out. I will be sending you, once you've signed up, I'll send you out an email on the links and stuff. The other thing too, we'll be doing a couple junior events. Discover Aggieland usually basically happens in the fall and spring of each year. I do one that's out here, but then we also do one on campus. Look for those definitely those events. Honors programs, we have a university honors open to all majors. If a student doesn't get in right away, don't panic. You can apply in your sophomore, junior, senior year. So, and then each college has their own honors. So you want to make sure that when you're in that application, the Coalition or Apply Texas, that you click that, and then they'll send you an email on everything. It's a holistic review. So they'll look at everything, and then a student will be communicating with them back and forth from the honors programs, or sometimes I've had the, College of Engineering based business school. The benefits, smaller classrooms, 15 to 20, civil engagements taught by some of the most intriguing professors on campus. And then also research opportunities. And then also, like I said, the smaller classrooms, living and learning. So a lot of times students will be in the university honors. They have the option to basically be living in the same residence hall with other honor students as well. Again, like I said, Division I, there's a lot to choose from. So if you're interested in playing at a D1 level, definitely go online, go to athletics. Admissions and all that, I really can't talk about it. So I basically tell students to go there. That's where you'll start communicating with the sports and athletic recruiters for those specific programs and stuff. Housing, we have a little over 12,000 students that are living on campus each year. And that basically freshmen are not required to live on campus, but highly recommend. They are doing virtual tours, recommend going on there. They're looking at everything that you do. So basically, if you look at the housing, or I mean, basically housing and everything like that, you just want to make sure you apply early on that. Corps of Cadets and everything like that, most of our students will basically be living with the Corps. So that's another one, opportunity for living and learning on that. And then we do campus tours Monday through Friday. They are doing in-person tours. There is virtual tours right now going. And again, as much information every time that you click on there, that gets recorded, so that we do demonstrated interest, especially that now that it's holistic review. I know I look at everything that all the students that have kept in touch with me, from emails to my prospective events and admitted events. I'll be looking at that, and I do a lot of different, like I said, smaller book scholarships and different things like that. The Maroon Merit Scholarships are very specific for out of state. They're non-competitive, but every little bit helps, and I will help you navigate through the whole system. With the campus tours, you can set up virtually, or if you're coming down for campus tour in person, make sure that I would, go online. You can register for academic campus tour. Resident hall tours will probably open up a little bit more than what they had in the past. So definitely look at those. Definitely spring breaks, when you have those, make sure that you're registering early, because it used to be you could walk in, even if you couldn't find a spot, we would always make it. Due to COVID-19, there's been some kind of changes on that. We'll see how this spring goes on that, but definitely keep in contact with me. I can help you through that, and I'll send you like different things that you want to check out while you're down there on campus. Definitely great restaurants. Traditions, Texas A&M, why I love it, warmer weather. It's basically, they love to call me in January and say, hey, how's the weather up in Maryland and the mid-Atlantic areas? And I have to always say, it could be 20, it could be 25, it could be 70, or we never know. And down there, it's pretty temperate at that point. They're usually in the 70s, although they had 2 snow days earlier this week. So you never know. But on majority, they get snow and it's gone within an hour. So, and it rarely ever happens. I think that I can count on one hand on that. And the other thing is too, the rich traditions at Texas A&M. One of my favorite ones is the midnight yell practice. That happens the night before a big football game. Everybody gathers at midnight in Kyle Field. And it's one of the largest stadiums in the country. 103,000 students, fans, alumni. It's unbelievable. Last year I got to take my students there, so definitely keep in touch with me. Hopefully spring or next fall we can regain those Discover Aggie lands, and we do have sometimes, it's the first 20 get to go to the football games, and we try to plan that. So definitely keep in touch with me on that part, because that was a great time. The other thing is our yell leaders. They basically chant out for the very next day. So that's one of the many. The Aggie Ring, I've seen that firsthand, how that works. A lot of my alumni that are locally here in the DC and Richmond area, they basically, one of my colleagues was there in the airport, and they walked over and saw them from afar and basically said, I see you have the Aggie ring, I'm an Aggie, and they instantly have a connection. And then the one gentleman was a CEO in DC, said, hey, if you ever decide to move up here, you have a job here. And it was just that simple. So you have a huge network, a big network, but it's, like I said, one of the friendliest Southern hospitality at its best. I've stepped on a lot of university campuses. That one has to have some of the best rich traditions in the hospitality. You have the best both worlds going on at Texas A&M, from top research that's going on, and something right now they're doing and working on with basically our bio engineering is actually COVID testing for big large events and for airplanes, where basically if you go on our website, you can probably punch it in. It's a breathalyzer. You breathe in it, it'll tell you if you're positive or negative. So if somebody gets a positive, they're not coming into the game or something like that. And same way they'll be using that for airlines. Very cutting edge. That they're definitely leading the way, and it's pretty neat to see that our students and our faculty are top notch. They're some of the best and the brightest in the country. So, but I'm going to open it up to you guys. What kind of questions do you have for me?
Thank you so
And
much for sharing all that information. That is so helpful. And just a
you're welcome.
question, for students who are viewing this later, can they still register with that link or will it close?
I'll double check it. I'll switch it out till tomorrow morning. So that way it gives you an idea. And then I'll send out the email once everybody registers. And this way it'll give you like basically all the links. And then you want to sign up to aggiebound.com. It'll be in that little link that or letter that I'll send you an email. I'll send that. So that way you can sign up for that. And then you can be sending out prospective events. And I'm sure once I get a real go ahead, I think I'll be hosting a couple different events. It'll be in person. They'll be smaller, but we'll make it all work. And that way you get to meet everybody, you know, locally that's here.
Perfect. So I'll send that information out for our students who might watch this later. Thank you. And our students who are watching right now, you can go ahead and
welcome. It's been my pleasure.
You can go ahead, students, and watch and put questions in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. So feel free to take yourself off mute and ask anything that you want. Thank you.